The opinions expressed here are exclusively those of CG Sense. No brand affiliations, free products, or affiliate marketing are associated with this video.
So before I get into describing the scent, this was a very bipolar experience visiting this fragrance, spending time with it, really coming to my conclusion on it. One of my friends said I'm nuts because I kept going back and forth on this one. Ultimately, I think that this is an absolute 10 fragrance. It probably has the best citrus I've ever smelt in my life. This is definitely how I want to smell as a person. I think it's very handsome. It's very well made. Has a very unique character. But at the same time, it's still Aventus. So it's one of those ones, like my overall conclusion on this is yes, I love it. Yes, I think it's great. But I also feel like I would never pay more than $300 for this. Like, to me, it's just a bit overpriced where it's at the market currently for me. That being said, I do think it's a great fragrance. And a lot of why I think it's overpriced is I'm just burnt out on Aventus DNA, you know. I've been overexposed to it. It's been overplayed for so long. So it's more of a me problem than a problem with the fragrance. But I'm going to share my story in a balanced take and what I love about this one. More of why it's ultimately just not for me at the price range it's currently at. So starting off with the opening, when I first spray this, well, let's start this off. For a week straight, I sprayed on 6 sprays of Absolu Aventus. I did actually 2 to the back and 2 to each wrist. The reason I sprayed on the back instead of the chest is I go nose blind to Aventus DNA like crazy. So I was trying to limit that so I could analyze the scent better for this video. And the reason I went with 6 sprays is I just like a lot of Aventus. It's one of those inoffensive scents. Everybody seems to like it. The most complimented DNA of anything I have. So I decided to go hard with it and really feel out what this fragrance was. It's also worth noting that these Creed atomizers, they're pretty strong. Definitely stronger than average. They pump out a lot of fragrance. So I wore a lot of Absolu Aventus for a week straight. Starting off with the opening, when I first spray this, it's the best citrus I ever smelled. And I'm talking before the alcohol evaporates here. When I first spray it on skin and I smell it right up close, that's the best part of Absolu Aventus for me personally. The first thing I'm hit with is this is Aventus. This is really Aventus-y. It is what Aventus is. I've been very exposed to this DNA. I know it. I recognize it immediately. But it's different than all the other Aventuses I've had, and it's my favorite take on the Aventus DNA. When I first spray it before the alcohol evaporates, I'm hit with pineapple. Now here's the interesting thing. It's not directly pineapple. I could see somebody spraying this and not really getting pineapple immediately. It's more of an impression of pineapple. I could see somebody saying, okay, it's like a yellow citrus. It's maybe like something lemony, citrusy, yellow, definitely yellow in color, not orange. And I could see them struggling to really say what it is specifically. But if I say pineapple, it's like one of those things, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So it's kind of weird that way. I wouldn't say it's like immediately obvious pineapple. It's like an impression of pineapple. And it's done in a way that is hyperbolic. And that's what I like about the Absolu Aventus opening more than the regular Aventus opening, is it almost feels cartoonish. It almost feels like it's pumped up. One of the ways I can let you guys know, okay, cartoonish, what does that mean? Think of Fanta orange versus orange juice, okay? You would say like Fanta orange has almost like a cartoonish, bigger than life, not necessarily as realistic as orange juice, but almost punched up and made into something bigger, better, hyperbolic, intense.
And I do get the pineapple more from the Absolu. It's like a more fruity, more pineapple Aventus.
So that's what I get from the Absolu Aventus DNA. That really makes it my favorite form of Aventus. I just like that it's like a pineapple bomb and it's like boom. I'm not saying that the regular Aventus isn't really pumped up and almost made bigger than life. I'm just saying, like, I feel like they took it a step further with the Absolu Aventus. And I really like that. I feel like it gives it more of an experience, more of a wow factor. With that pineapple, there's that Aventus smell. And it's really hard to describe what the Aventus smell is. But I would say it's the freshness of pepper. It's not like if you go into a kitchen and you pick up black pepper and you smell it, it's going to have a very earthy, very gourmand element to it. If you could separate that from what makes pepper fresh, that's what I'm talking about here. It's the freshness of pepper. But it doesn't have any of the gourmand, none of the earthy elements, just purely the freshness riding alongside this super juicy, almost cartoonish pineapple. And it's giving it a kick of freshness and a dose of like masculinity, like for sure. It's making it masculine, fresh, peppery, and just this bigger than life. And I would say the pineapple's very front and center, and the pepper's acting more of like an accent that just gives it this manly energy. So that's the first, before the alcohol evaporates moment. When I spray Absolu Aventus, I smell my wrist and I'm like, this is the best citrus note I've ever smelled in my life. Like, I love it. I think it's great. The one that gets closest to me would be Roja Isola Blue Parfum. But this takes the cake on just how well the citrus is done. Now, when the alcohol evaporates, I'm going to talk about the first 40 minutes of the fragrance. What happens for me is the pineapple kind of demagnifies a bit, just a bit. And what comes in is like a fizzy, sparkly quality. Almost like if you were to think of pineapple soda. Now, it's not going to be as sweet as pineapple soda. So think of a lightly sweet, lightly carbonated pineapple soda. So there's like this fizzy, sparkly quality to the pineapple note that comes in. And then the pepper kind of comes more side by side. So in the beginning, it's this big explosion of juicy pineapple, okay? Then after the alcohol evaporates, the pineapple kind of gets dialed back and then it almost meets the pepper more. And I feel like that peppery freshness is giving the pineapple note like a sparkling quality, almost like a lightly carbonated pineapple soda. That would be the best way I could describe it to somebody. And I'm smelling my wrist and it's just like super refreshing because of that sparkly quality. And there's this base, and the base hasn't really made itself present yet, but I can detect it. And the base, it's very, very not so much there in this first 40-minute period, but it is there. It's one of those things where it's really... okay, so a lot of people will say the base reminds them of Sauvage Elixir, and I totally see where they're coming from when they say that. But at the same time, I think it doesn't really smell like Sauvage Elixir to me, because Sauvage Elixir, for one, it's really strong and it has a cinnamon quality that I'm not really getting from the Absolu Aventus. What I'm really getting is almost like a very thin, transparent oatmeal cookie smell. And I'm sure there's 1,000 detailed ways to describe this base, and you can relate it to other fragrances and stuff like that. I'm just letting you guys know what I get. It's very thin. It's very like see-through oatmeal cookie sitting on top of this sparkling pineapple with this peppery freshness. And I feel like that base is really just giving it a sense of being modern and dark. And it's more punching up what's in the top and mid. I feel like this is very pineapple centric in this stage, that fizzy pineapple. And the pepper is prevalent to some extent, but that oatmeal cookie is really contributing to this dark, almost modern masculine energy. I absolutely love the fragrance in this stage. It actually puts images in my mind of like, almost like, this is going to sound weird, but like a dark Chad kind of thing, like almost like handsome, dark. It makes me think of dark clothing. I actually was thinking, wow, this is kind of like Imagination in the sense that they're both modern, citrus, done really well. But they give me totally different vibes. Like with Imagination, I get pretty boy image, almost like blonde hair, blue eyes, beach model in a white button-down shirt. And with this, I'm getting much more like, I don't know, black clothes, dark hair, dark eyes, more of a darker, more handsome energy. And with Imagination, I'm getting more pretty boy energy. Another way I could describe the difference is like Imagination would be like your boy band, like Backstreet Boys, Justin Bieber. And with this, I'm getting more of like a Green Day, My Chemical Romance. Both are young, but it's like one has a darker aesthetic than the other. And I kind of relate more to the darker aesthetic. So, you know, I'm one of those people that I tend to wear black shirts. If I were to pick a color of a car, it wouldn't be a white one, it would be a black one. So I'm just resonating with this more than Imagination. And that's not to say this is better than Imagination. I just think that in that first 40-minute window, this fits my aesthetic and personality more. And the fact it makes me think of like one of the ways I'm linking these two, and the only reason I'm comparing them is they both make me think of an attractive man. Like they both smell very attractive to me. It's just two different types of attractive man. So I think that this fragrance in that first 40-minute window, what I'm getting from it is something that smells very, very attractive, very handsome. And that's really what I love about this, because it's like one of those things where it's like, I want to smell attractive. I want to smell like this. I like the dark energy of it. I like the modern touch. I like the citrus and the way it's all coming together. It's super refreshing. That's when I just love this fragrance. And I think the opening, the first 40 minutes, that's when I'm just sold on this DNA. It's more than I like the smell of it. It's more also combined with I want to smell like this. So it's like a double fusion. After 40 minutes, so we're going to talk about between 40 minutes and 2 hours here. This is when the fragrance kind of the oatmeal cookie thing I talked about, the translucent, it kind of all just comes together and forms more like a stew. Like the pineapple note, the pepper, and the oatmeal cookie. The oatmeal cookie, first off, is way in the background in that first 40 minutes. You can hardly smell it. It's more accenting the overall vibe of the fragrance. I start being able to actually smell it between 40 minutes and 2 hours. And the pineapple and the black pepper kind of come down in all three, like the trinity, rather than being separate parts. It kind of is like they all mesh together more and form one scent. Describing this one scent would be hard, other than picturing those parts all combined almost at an even frequency. I still love the fragrance in this stage. It's not my favorite, but I still love it. And I still think it smells really handsome, really nice, really dark. That's that 40 minutes to 2 hours. Now, between 2 hours and 7 hours, that's when I really struggle to smell this fragrance. That's when the nose blindness starts really kicking in. So it's not so much that the scent changes, it's more I just struggle to smell it. And it is a gradient pattern that goes down to the 7 hour mark. But at 7 hours, I definitely cannot smell it 0%. Now, it's interesting. At the 6 hour mark is when I'm basically completely nose blind to it, but then I receive compliments from a distance. And I'll show my friends my wrist. Do you smell this at 6 hours? And they smell it, but I don't smell it at all. It's like one of those trippiest things ever. They say, yeah, I definitely smell it. And then I go up and smell my wrist. I'm like, 0%. I can't smell it at 6 hours. 6 hours to 7 hours to me is the complete nose blind window. But I've asked friends, do you smell it at 8 hours? And they say, no, not really. And if I do, it's super faint, like super, super faint. So I really feel like this has 7 hours of longevity on me. I feel like it has 3 hours of really good projection. Not really good, but good projection. It's not one of those ones that's ever like room filling, like you step in the room and everyone turns and it's like, oh, that's the cologne guy. It has a nice sillage to it, and it's not overly invasive for 3 hours. Get compliments at a pretty reasonable distance, stuff like that. Overall, I would say it has 7 hours of longevity. I've heard people say they get 10 hours plus or 48 hours, or they spray it on clothes and they smell it for 8 days. That's just not my experience with this fragrance. The performance, I'm not overly disappointed with it with Absolu Aventus, because really, if you give me 3 good hours, I'm pretty happy with that. Like most of the times when I go out, I'm gonna be out for like 3 hours. I'm not even above carrying a travel atomizer and spraying this in the car before I get out of the car, and just like having a good 3 hours. And honestly, also, I was getting compliments at 6 hours. So overall, I'm actually reasonably happy with the performance of Absolu Aventus, but it also feels like one of those fragrances where I would need to spray a bit more to get that push. So, you know, I have fragrances like the Moon and stuff like that, or Ombre Nomade is another good example where, you know, one spray, you're good. And when I look at those bottles, I'm like, wow, totally worth the money, because I could wear this like hundreds of times for what I spent on it. This one, you're going to need at least 3, 4, 5 sprays. And when you consider how strong the atomizer is, it just doesn't seem like as good of a value as other fragrances. But that being said, I'm not overly disappointed with the performance of this. Just given the price range, I kind of wish it was one of those ones where it was like 2 sprays, you're good for like 7 hours. You know what I'm saying? And there is nose blindness crossover. Like I feel like I go nose blind to this faster than I would other fragrances, because I've worn a lot of Aventus in my past, like a lot of Aventus. Or Aventus inspired fragrances. I've emptied bottles of them. It was a scent that I wore exclusively for longer than a year before I really even got into fragrances. And because of that, I think I blew out my nose. So like, I don't know if the nose blindness is super relatable. It's definitely one to try for yourself and find out for yourself. But if you're one of those types that goes like nose blind to Aventus really fast and you know that about yourself, because if you use a fragrance enough, your brain learns how to tune it out and it gets better and better at it. And if you're one of those people that's used a lot of Aventus and you're hoping that this solves the nose blindness issue, you might be disappointed. To me, there's a cross tolerance or like a nose blindness crossover. So that's one of the, it's kind of disappointing, but that's not really something that's objectively wrong with the fragrance. That's more of me. Like that's because I blew my nose out on Aventus. So yeah, take from that what you will. Now, what's my overall opinion on this fragrance? This is where it gets bipolar. It goes a lot into psychology, and it's going to require me to share a lot more intimate details about my psychology going into this and things I realized and learned and things I'm not necessarily the most proud of, to be honest. So it's just going to take like a complete transparent look at my journey with this fragrance. It's definitely the most up-down review I've had because when I walked into this, I really wanted to hate this fragrance. I did. Like I wanted to so bad because I'm really sick of Creed. I don't really like the direction they're going as a brand. I feel like now they're like releasing fragrances with these silly Greek mythology names and the scent profiles. They're moving so far away from what they did in the past. Like I appreciate going a new direction, but it's like they're wannabe Parfum de Marly now. And with not just with the actual fragrance design itself, but with the branding and all of that and charging exorbitant prices and giving like these kind of corny, gimmicky marketing maneuvers and all that combined, it just makes me feel like it's like a chinky brand now. Like it's something like, I feel like I'm 35 and I feel like their marketing is really targeted at like 13-year-olds. That's how I feel about it with the real gimmicky over the top, even the names. It's like, what was the last one? Oud Zarian. What's the next one going to be? Zoltan. You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, 80-year-old aged oud from the Galapagos Mountains. And they take everything like to the next level, trying to make it like it's so gimmicky. Like I feel like it's a cornball brand now. And not only that, there's other issues with Creed, like with this and the marketing of it. You know, the limited release of the 75 mil. People are going to bring that up. Yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying because they said like there's only so many bottles going to be made. I even had a marketing, like a sales rep tell me if I don't get it now, I'll never be able to get it. And then after a while, first off, I feel like they made a lot of those bottles. And then after a while, they came out with the Triple H batch. So they released it a second time. And now they're releasing it a third time. And people could say, oh, the formulation's different, the bottle's different. I get it. Like those 75 mils, maybe they were limited release. So it's not like I'm accusing the brand of like total shady marketing here, but it's like they kept the name and they gave people a larger volume for almost the same price. And it almost feels like if you were one of the people that bought into Absolu Aventus in the beginning, you didn't get the Triple H batch better one and you didn't get the bigger bottle. And it just feels... It feels a little schemy, so that's another issue I have with the brand. The batch variation, I haven't experienced it personally, but it's crazy to me. Like, I was on a discounter site, and they were listing off the F batches. And it's kind of crazy to me that some people say that when you buy Aventus, you don't know what you're getting because the quality control is so bad. And people will make excuses for it, but to me, when you're charging like $500 plus for a fragrance and you're putting your name on it, you should make sure that there's consistency across the board. So all that, plus it's like, dude, Aventus 2000, like how many Aventuses have we had like in the past? That's not really Creed's fault, but it's like Aventus is one of those DNAs that I'm kind of just sick of. And it's like people are so hyped about another Aventus. And I felt this natural pushback of like, you know what, like, I can't believe this. Like, I just felt like this really strong desire to push back against the hype. And I'm done with like Creed and I'm sick of Aventus. Like Aventus has been like, some people just never get tired of it. Apparently I got tired of Aventus a long time ago. And I have friends that just won't stop taking the conversation to Aventus. And it's like Aventus this, Aventus that. Oh, here's another take on Aventus. Here's another hyped Aventus. And I'm so sick of Aventus. I really liked Aventus like the first 2 years that I wore it. But at some point, I moved on. And like, I still wear Aventus. And the reason I wear Aventus is it's the number one compliment getter of my whole collection. And it doesn't seem to matter if it's OG Aventus, Aventus Cologne, or if it's Myth Mystery for him, or if it's a Club de Nuit. All things that smell somewhat Aventus get the most compliments of anything, by far, by a landslide. If I did a top 10 most complimented fragrance list, really there's only one extreme compliment getter, and that's Aventus, and everything else would be an honorable mention. I think Aventus DNA does something to the brains of certain humans, and it's almost like catnip to them. That's why you have like Facebook groups that are literally called Aventus addicts, that these people literally just collect different batches of Aventus, and all they do is Aventus. That's it. There are a percentage of people that when they smell Aventus, for whatever reason, it turns on their brain a certain way. And when you wear Aventus, it's likely that you're going to encounter those people. Everybody seems to like Aventus, but there's a certain percentage that are over the top and love Aventus. And they love Aventus so much that when you encounter this type of person that like the key fits the slot, so to speak, they're going to ask you what you're wearing. It's awkward to give someone a compliment, but that puts them over the top. They have to know what that is. So I wear Aventus a lot for that reason. I wear it also because it's extremely versatile. It works in all seasons. Some people say Aventus doesn't work in high heat. I think it does. I think it works in cold too. And everybody seems to like it. It's just likable. It gets the most compliments of anything. So I wear Aventus a lot, but at the same time, do I really need another Aventus? I would say that this is the best take on Aventus. I love it. I love it. But the issue I have with Absolu Aventus is it's also the most expensive take on Aventus. And a lot of these other forms of Aventus I have accomplish the same goal as what this accomplishes. But because they're cheaper, I can really dumb spray them. I can spray them before I go to work. I can spray them when I get home. I can overspray them. And I don't really think about denting the bottle. So like when it comes to spending over $300 on an Aventus-esque fragrance, to me, that's almost as silly as spending $300 on like a blue fragrance. Like, yes, this is the best and I like it the most. The reason I like it is really that opening, that cartoonish pineapple being so strong in that first 40 minutes. Yes, I like it, but am I going to spend over $300 and kind of feel like I can't really overspray it? Or for example, spray it before I go to work, spray it when I get home, when I'm going out. Like spray it like I would want to be able to spray a signature without feeling a little bit of hesitation because I'm denting a $300 bottle. Then it's not, I don't know. There's something to be said about having something that really accomplishes the same goals as Aventus, gets just as many compliments as what this does. But I could really just spray it like crazy. And yes, this is a 10 fragrance, but I have a lot of 10 fragrances. And they aren't the Aventus DNA that I'm so used to and so tired of. But of course, I'll say this: value is relative, and you might not be tired of Aventus DNA. It might be new to you, or you might be new to this and this whole thing. And you might have a lot of money, and $300 isn't a lot to spend for you on a dumb reach fragrance. For those people, I would say, yeah, like definitely. This is a 10 fragrance. It's amazing. I highly recommend sampling it, trying it out, deciding for yourself. So yeah, this is kind of, as much as I wanted to hate this fragrance, as much as I don't like Creed, I think they're gimmicky and I think the way they're going is wrong. I can't deny that this is a great fragrance. And this week, spending time with Absolu Aventus really taught me to kind of get rid of all that marketing and that need to hate something because of the price, because of the brand, and just focus on the perfume. I don't know who the perfumer behind this is, if it's a person or a group of people. This is like a work of art, and it taught me how to have an intimate connection with just the fragrance and get rid of all that want to hate it because of the marketing noise almost. Because fragrance is very intimate. It's an intimate form of art. Because when you wear a fragrance, people think that's what you smell like. I feel like there's no art form more intimate than fragrances. So it was really cool to like get to a place where I said, yeah, I can't stand Creed. I can't stand the marketing. I can't stand all of that. But I had to learn how to wipe all that out and just focus on the perfume and what the perfumer or group of perfumers is trying to share with me with this fragrance. And I think it's stellar. I think it's a masterpiece, absolutely amazing. And maybe when I run out of all of my Aventus-inspired fragrances, I'll go ahead and purchase something like this if I'm baller like that or just have more money, looking for a signature scent and I can really afford a $300 bottle signature scent. I might go for this. This would be my number one pick for Aventus DNA. But right now, I'm not like in this huge rush to get this. I'm not finna sell all my forms of Aventus to keep this bottle. I'm gonna let go of this. And it's really not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm at with the Absolu Aventus. So it's not so much that Absolu Aventus really takes me to a specific place or time. It really is modern, and it really feels fitting for like daily wear, going to the office. And a lot of the vibe, I covered it earlier, is this smells attractive. This smells handsome. This smells put together. It has a dark, almost bad boy-esque energy to it, but it's not try hard. It's not like it's smoke and resins and this and that and trying so hard to be masculine. It just has a touch of that. But really what stands out is just this really easy to wear, office friendly, beautiful citrus scent that I feel comfortable wearing in any situation. It doesn't smell old man to me. It doesn't smell vintage. It smells very fitting for somebody in their 30s and modern times who works in an office. And it just seems like something very pleasant. Like a lot of people would enjoy you wearing this around them. It's not one I'm concerned about overspraying at all. And the overall aesthetic and the vibe of it really is for me because I like black cars, black clothes. That's kind of more of the vibe I go with. And I feel like this just fits along with the natural aesthetic I have. And it feels so me. I don't know if you guys have experienced that with the fragrance, but this one just feels very me, very comfortable, very confident boosting. And it's an excellent fragrance. That's the overall vibe that I get from it. It's not really so much a vibe as it just fits who I already am as a person. It fits the modern times. And it's just a beautiful scent.
Absolu Aventus. Very nice. Okay. This has a lot of lemon in it. Lemon or some kind of citrus. But I'm going to go with lemon. It's like a floral lemon thing. Like a lemon, key lime pie is what comes to mind. Yeah, definitely key lime pie. This smells good. Awesome. I think it's for all ages. And I think you could use this the entire year round because it's not necessarily like super fresh summer, but the lemon makes it feel that way. But then the creaminess of what makes it a key lime pie makes it like suitable also for fall, winter. So this is an all year thing. And it's very masculine, serious, proper fragrance. So I'm going to give it a 10.
Wee.
I like it.
Ding, 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 ding. That means I'm going to definitely sell that one.
Oh my God. What you going to get, T-Rex? Yeah, the dry down, you're left with a clean, soapy, fresh scent that is just appropriate for all times. So that's good.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh God. No. Take that away.